married. The priesthood is not alone. It's anything but alone. The priest and the seminarian and you who are taking those steps, you're preparing for the most happy marriage. And it's a tough marriage, but your bride is always, she's always beautiful. The Blessed Mother and Mother Church. And she's always faithful. She's always there. Our Lord is always in the Blessed Sacrament. And the Pfeiffers tell me that old Father Hannafin and Snyder, Father Urban, the Trappist monk, he used to sit right, bring his chair and put it right there on the top predella. And sit and converse with the Sacred Heart of Jesus. He would open the tabernacle and converse, husband to wife, wife to husband, spouse to spouse. And if that is not the most perfect model of what the priest must be in his interior life, there you have it. And he used to sit here. And what an example. So you're preparing for your married day, and you put on your coffin, because we don't live for this world. We die, we want to die to this world, and we got to continually die to this world. St. Paul said, I die daily. With Christ I am crucified. Pick up your cross daily and follow me. So it is a daily battle, and you're just taking the first step now. So trust in the Virgin Mary, her Immaculate Heart. She is the mother of the priest. Why? Is it just a nice poetic term? Is it just a nice sentimental thing to make us feel good? No, it's as real as the pews and the hardwood you're sitting on. Mary is mother of the priest. Why? Because the second person of the Trinity, the eternal high priest, was conceived in her womb. And at that moment, at the Annunciation, March 25th, the first March 25th of the Annunciation, our Lord Jesus Christ, in his human nature, was ordained a priest in the Basilica of the Blessed Virgin Mary's body. Most pure, most beautiful, most worthy to be the first church of an ordination of a priest. The eternal high priest, Jesus Christ the King. That's why she's mother of the priest. She really was the first temple for the true priesthood that never will end, the order of Melchizedek that lasts forever. So consecrate yourselves to the Immaculate Heart of Mary, you seminarians to be, you clerics to be. And let us approach this Holy Mass, asking the Sacred Heart of Jesus, the most pure Heart of Mary, consecrate your whole life to her. And if it's God's will that you continue on to the minor orders and to our vows or to the priesthood, it's one day at a time. It's one day at a time. There's no handcuffs in the seminary. It's totally free. There's no locked gates here, as you know. You're free to go. And there's no force, no handcuffs. With God, it has to be totally free. And you've tasted many trials already with frozen pipes and no hot water and breakdowns of heat. And the list can be added on, I know. But with God, with our Lord, the first seminary was anything but all that comfortable either. The apostles traveled over 9,000 miles on foot with our Lord Jesus Christ in his public life. The seminary training was very nomadic, very uncomfortable. So welcome to something somewhat similar. So let's go to the altar, consecrate your vocation to the Virgin Mary. Some are called to the seminary, but not to the priesthood. Some are called to the seminary, but not to the priesthood. And Father Pfeiffer and I, and we know many good men who came to see about offering their life to God, if that was their vocation. They tried it, and they found out it wasn't God's will in their first year, or fifth year, or fourth year, whatever. And now we know many of them, they're good dads. They're good men in the world, and they have the faith, and they're fighting for the faith, and they're raising large families. And they're trying to restore things to Christ in their profession, whatever they are. So it is true, there are vocations to the seminary, but not to the priesthood. And God will bless you if you've tried and you honestly sought His will. And if you found out it's not His will, well, all right, do His will. That's what matters. But those of you called to the priesthood, you will see this unfold as time goes on. Let me just close with what we were always told in our seminary retreats. And we have to really pray to the Virgin Mary for this grace. The vocation is like a string that God throws to a soul. And that string, if it's a grace, if you grab onto that string, God will then send a rope. And if you stay faithful to that rope, He will send a strong rope, and a stronger rope, and a chain. And it all eventually leads to the happy union with Him in heaven. So if you're faithful to that grace, and pray to be faithful to that grace, God will give it to you. And so let's go to the altar, to the throne of mercy, asking God to, and you people, pray for these seminarians, pray for the seminarians yet to come, to fill these halls and rooms, and pray that they be faithful. Because if there's any time the priesthood is under fire, under attack, and not all that glamorous anymore. 50 years ago, the priesthood was very glamorous, but now it's dragged in the mud, thanks to the infiltrators in the church who are trying to tear the church down from top to bottom. And you're entering total war zone. Bombs are dropping, bullets flying, there's mines hidden, there's eyeballs of people on spears, there's heads cut off, there's legs everywhere, and the priest has to come and try to put order in this mess. So, welcome to the war zone. Let's ask the Virgin Mary to protect us, to be faithful in this war zone. One last story. I know this is long, but forgive me. One last story. In Vietnam, there was a Vietnam vet that I met. He gave a talk to one of the boys on the boys' trip once. And his talk was, his platoon had to cross a huge field because they had to discover where the mines were. And it was him, the captain, he had the rosary in his hand, and all the troops. And they started walking, and then to the left, one of his guys was blown up off a mine. And then to the right, another blown up, and another one blown up. And as they kept walking, one by one, they were being blown up. He said the only ones that made it were the captain and himself. And he said it was only because of the rosary, only because of her, that he made it through. So hold on to that 59 bullet machine gun. For us priests, it is indispensable weapon. We will not make it without the Rosary and the Virgin Mary. But with her we will. And with her go forward to the war zone, into the greatest battle worth fighting and giving your life for. O Mary, conceived without sin. Pray for us who have recourse to thee. O Mary, conceived without sin. Pray for us who have recourse to thee. O Mary, conceived without sin. Pray for us who have recourse to thee. Father, Son, Holy Ghost.